Good afternoon, traders. We're recording the second part of the the New York session, where we're looking at just general charts, not those that we have. The first part is trades that we've had set up, what we did with them, what we're doing with them, and how we manage them. And now we're going to just go through everything. We have some news coming up in 10 minutes. We'll take a look at it. We normally don't trade the news in here with traders. This is making a bigger correction. Just like we think the euro is doing, it's making a big correction, probably go back to the top. This could be a flat and drop, but this is a nice trade if we get it. We're taking the trade on the euro, right? If it just breaks the top, what if it goes higher and then, do this and keep going? Then it'll be a good trade. You'll make money in it, right? Let's go. We're looking at this here. And this is just going sideways. So you can literally stay away from it, right? It's not dropping. It's not going to go. You'll have to wait until you figure out where there's a flag to sell or buy. We don't have any of that. This one, the aggressive sell is wait. It has to go back. You have to let this go back up first before you take the sell, right? That's the sell in the making. Sorry, this one here, we're waiting for, if you took the buy, but we didn't get this setup, right? We're waiting for this to go back up. This has to go back a little more like that, and then you'll get a running flat. And now you'll have to put an entry here with a stop here, and all they need to do is break this low. Do you think this is a good trade with a risk like this? And the reward is could be here. It could go lower, but this would be the minimum for the requirement to say stop and turn, which doesn't make it a good trade, right? If you like the trade, you have to understand by the time it gets to this bottom, you have to close the trade. So probably the best thing is let it go and then look for the buy setup. Pound. Well, the pound we closed and we put the entry, but that's because of the news, because you rather close it than put the entry, because if it keeps coming down, we'd look for a sell setup. We did break the top, right? So if we take this as the running flat, we did break the top. Now there's a good chance we're making a bigger running flat here, and this would be a much bigger running flat in the future. So we'll have to wait for that. New Zealand, it's a sell setup, but not a really good sell setup. So take this off. This was this one. If you look at it like this, we're making a small sell setup here. We're kind of consolidating here. But it's not like a big consolidation for a big drop. If you want to take the trade, it probably will still stay in here for a while, do this and then come back here. And the higher we get into this, the more it's going to come here and just be a flat for upside. Right, so I think we'll stay with this one, especially with the news coming up in 10 minutes. We'll come back after the news and put an entry on. Euro New Zealand, you could probably get a sell if you want. One single drop, and then after that, it could go back up, right? So this is going to go out of the structure. This one, eventually, this whole thing is going to go upwards. But it might do this first, break this low, and then go back up. So there's a short trade to get to the downside here. You can put an entry order for a sell here. It's a short trade. You can just take the trade and that's it. Put an entry order there. If it drops, as soon as we break this low, we take the profit. And then we go for the next one. So Euro Swiss, there is a short one to get here too, but I'm not sure we want this one. This one is even shorter than that one, which means all this need to do is do something like this and go back up. It could go lower than that. I'm not saying it can go lower than that, but we're assuming that if this is going to be equal to this, see like this, they make this one, they made a small one here, drop and then go back up. So this could be the small one to drop here and then go back up. I think we rather skip this. Let's go with the Euro CAD and leave this alone. Let's see the Euros if we have it. Euros also has a consolidation here that could drop. See this? This looks like a consolidation here that could drop one more here and then go back up. This might make sense taking. So let's see what it looks like in the 1 hour. Pretty much, yes, you can see it very clearly. You have a 1 hour flag forming here. It didn't break this top, but it doesn't have to break the top, right? It could literally just do this and then go back up. That's what we were expecting, right? Because we're looking at that whole thing as a big flat, big corrective structure. Sorry, see this? Big corrective structure. Come back one more down, come back one more down here, and then go back up. And that would give you 1, 2, 3. So this could be a sell. It's a big drop. If it goes, I think we want it. We can put the entry under the low. Right, not under this because we didn't break that top. But if it breaks the top, then we do. But now if it drops from there as a contracting flat, you still want the trade. Let's go. This is the Euro Oz. Let's go Euro Yen. It's still within that range, so leave it alone. This is a range. This is not buy and sell. That is just showing you the range it's in. Leave it alone. Euro pound. We've got a sell setup. It's a short-term sell setup, but we'll take it and see where that goes. I don't think that's going to drop really far. Can it be that this is all the correction? 1, 2, 3, and this is dropping from here? We don't really need to break that up. And if they're dropping from there, we don't need to break it up. So I don't know, we'll see. We can put the entry order and leave it. Let's see where it goes. Euro pound. If the correction go higher, we'll take it off. Sorry, pound Oz. That's a Euro pound. Pound Oz. Still going sideways. Leave it for now. It's going to go up, but I don't think it's this one. Because we have a lot of sharp waves here, and this is the most corrective. So I would probably still stay away from it for now. Pound CAD. We closed the aggressive buy already this morning, and that's the right thing. We do see it went up a little more, but it's dropping. Can we get a sell set up here? Go to the 15. If we get a flag, we'll sell it. See? This is what you call the reversal type. Impulse, impulse, wait for a flag here, confirm the reversal sell. How long a flag takes to form? About 2 hours or so, and then we'll go with that, right? So let's go. Pound New Zealand. Let's see where we are in the big picture. Looks like it's coming down back one more. We want the buy setup in here. We don't want to sell. We want this to make a flat and go above the top. But if it comes back one more to the low here, we'll have to wait for a sell setup. If we get a flag somewhere here, we can sell it. If we don't get a flag, we can put an entry for a buy. Literally put an entry for a buy because that could break out. Let's see if we get a consolidation there. We'll put an entry for the buy. Aussie yen. Nothing. This will probably drop one more. You can see this here. Probably drop one more here. And that will leave us with a problem. If this becomes 1, 2, 3. This is a 1, 2, 3 also. See that? 1, 2, 3. But this one is sharp. So if we go back up in a 1, 2, 3, we'll get one sharp move more here, and then we can go. That would make more sense. See? By the way, anybody know where we have a yearly pattern like this? Anyone of you guys know where we have a yearly pattern almost like that? Let me see how many of you can remember. I showed it yesterday. Okay, Aussie, New Zealand, just so you know. Aussie, Swiss. We want the upside. We don't have anything. We took off the buy and leave it alone because it's not going anywhere. New Zealand, Swiss. Same thing, we don't, it's in the middle of nowhere, so you can't really trade. There might be a small sell out there, but not a good one. New Zealand CAD. Okay, this looks like downside. Could it be they're coming down back as a correction or coming down back to, well, this is more upside. The bigger structure is upside. This could just be a deeper correction. That's in the 1 hour way, the correction with these stuff. This might just be a deeper correction. I think we'll wait for this to go back and retest that top. Let it go back there, retest the top, and then we'll look for the sell. It's just a bigger correction for upside. New Zealand yen. I think this one here, we have to wait because I'm not sure why we're getting this flat looking pattern after we have this flat looking pattern. So we have this one, which is a running flat. And now we are getting a flat right into that structure. We do have a flat here. We can make an argument of whether this is the equivalent of that, and then we go back up, right? Like this has 1, 2, 3. This has 1, 2, and then go back up there for 3 before it drops. But we don't have the buy setup, right? There's no buy setup in it, so we'll have to wait. Canadian, we already looked at. We have the entry over there, CAD Swiss. Yeah, you're getting a sell setup, but you want it to go back up. So you literally want this to go back up here, complete this flat, come back here, go back there, complete the flat, and then we go for the sell. What if it drops right now? If you think it's going to drop right now, then put an entry order for a sell here. Under the low. That would be a contracting flat if it drops now, right? And this one, you can go with a short-term buy if you want. I don't really like the trade, but if you want, you could put the short-term buy here. It's a very short term. These are very small flags. You want a bigger correction before you go for a bigger movement. So we've got this natural gas we're selling, oil we're not doing anything. This is consolidating. It should go up, come back down, go back up, complete this flat, pretty much like this flat, all right? Break the top and then drop. So the buy here is not a good idea. Wait for it to finish and then we'd look for the sell. UK oil is the same thing. PayPal, we're looking for what? Nothing is yet. It needs to go higher and then we look for consolidation for a lower point. If it's a buy, you have to wait. This one also, this could drop. It could drop one more. You're literally making a small flag there for one more down, but then eventually from this point, once you break that low, look for the buy setup. You can ignore the sell, look for the buy setup. Amazon, let it come back up and then we'll sell it, all right? If you can get a good buy here to break this top or to come to that top, not a bad idea, but after that, there's a good chance you get one more down. We already have these for, well, you can take off those aggressive buys because they're no longer valid. So we'll take off the aggressive buys and let's put the sell, put a sell entry here. We're gonna put a sell entry there and there, right? The aggressive buy was short term. But if these drop, we want the trade. If it's going up, we have to wait for a flag to buy. The same should be here, right? We can take off the aggressive buy, you take off break even, whatever you want out of it. And we can put an aggressive sell and the sell entry under the low, which would be this one here. Right? So if this drops through the bottom, we want it. NASDAQ, we can't put that sell. There is a sell setup, we can't put it because we haven't broken this up. Right? So this is still a consolidation to come here and go back up there and then drop, making this flat and then go. This would not give us a good trade and the risk to reward. So we'd leave it. This one is a sell. We leave that. DAX, still a buy. You're still in the buy. If you close it and put higher, but it's still a buy setup, right? So after 2 hours, you'll close, put higher. But if it takes off after 2 hours, good for you. Nifty, you can, it's going back up. So you'll get some kind of a flat here when it gets to the top and then you look for a sell, right? It's making a correction and then it's going to drop. Bitcoin. It's coming down. You want it to come down. You want it to come back to about this level. And then look for the buy because you have this, you got this, you're going to get that. Now, the lower it comes, the more it's not going to be a big up move, right? So the lower this comes into the low, right? The lower it comes, the closer it comes to this low here, the more it becomes a flat for one more down. But if it stays from here and go up, that's a good trade. So you can still keep the entry order there for now. Right? You can even bring it a little lower. Aggressive, but bring it a little lower. ETH dropped really much, almost to the bottom, which means that any up move now from here, right? Either it breaks or it doesn't break, but any up move will be a flat for downside. So if we get a buy setup, we'll take it. But once it comes here, you'll put that into positive because one more down before it goes. This is just a big flat in the making. And that means Bitcoin might also be a big flat. XRP might be the same thing, a big flat. XRP is very far from the low. I mean, this is really very far from the low, right? You want it to come here. So if they work their way down there, go back up, it will be a big flat for downside. If this goes from here, it's a good buy. You can move this buy entry to this level. It broke the low already, right? So we said when it breaks the low, we move the entry. If you get a flag before that, we'll buy to the flag. This one dropped quite a lot as we expected it to do. So now you have an impulse up. You have 1, 2, 3. At some point, this goes back up and then drop. If the lower it comes there, the more it's going to be a flat. If it goes from here, it could totally take off. So now you wait for your buy setup. Anytime it turns and give you a flag, you get into the trade. No flag, no trade, right? Now, if you sell that, if you're selling this short term, if you're short term selling that, you might want to move your stop really, really tight. Can we put this entry order to this level here now? Yeah, I think we can do that. Making this the flat, right? So you can do that. You can put your entry order there. ADA, you can move this entry order to this level. We broke the low. This is pretty much the same thing. You can pull the trend line like this, and you can put an entry order here. All of these might be just flats. So when they break the top, we'll start to move. You might get an entry lower, but for now you have to put it there. We just broke all the lows. So this could go up anytime. It can also come all the way to the bottom. We're not selling, right? Remember the idea is to get the early buy and stay with it for a while. Dash, it's coming back. Now the question in here is whether this is a running flat or whether this was all a correction. We are coming to retest this low. Right, that's the only question. I would go with a running flat. I'm more inclined to believe it's just making a running flat, but we will wait and see. Link also came lower. This is what you wanted to do. You wanted to come lower than this point. So you got 1, you got 2, you got 3. See? Now if they want to go up, they can easily go up from this point. And you'll put the entry here. Above the top, right? That's the, if they want to go up now. So 2 ways this can go up. If it's going to go up, it could go back like this, drop again, or go up like that. If it goes up like this, you want to trade. If it goes up like this, you can probably sell it one more time to come back to the low. But this would be the impulse. This would be the correction. Eventually, you'll make an impulse up. The lower this come again will make a flat. If it goes from here, this could be an up move. That could be a total up move. So you want to keep the entry there. And let's go with this. Same thing here. All of them now, the patterns are pretty much lined up. And you can put this here. If this comes too much to the bottom, we'll take it off because we'll have to buy it from a much lower point. Let me take out these. They might affect what we're looking at. Right. This one is different. This one does not. This one could actually make a new low. Right. So I'm not surprised if this drop make the new low and then go back up. I'm not looking at it as a flat. Even if it's a flat, it's going to be just a flat. Right. Even if this is a flat here like this, it's going to just come here and go back down because it's way into the low. See, this is the lowest way, just a few pips. Especially if this come here, you tag the low, you go back up and you drop. So this looks more downside, literally. If it's coming pretty deep, we already break the low, so you don't want to buy it. You want to wait for this to go back up. At some point, this goes back up, make a running flat, drop, and then we buy. We look for the flag up here and buy. Impulse, flag, buy. Can we buy this if we want? Well, short term, you can try your luck. If it's short term, you can take the trade. BNB, well, this one is a little different. And this could literally be a running flat, right? This here. That could be a running flat if this goes back up one more. So the entry above the top is a good idea. We have that entry above the top there. That is a good idea. Keep that entry right there because if this takes off, you want the trade. What if it's coming down much lower? Well, then you'll have to break out of this structure and make a flag here. And then you sell. This flag, if you sell, was only for this piece. And then you take profit, right? So now, if this makes a running flat, the upside is good. MP, still consolidating sideways. It came a little lower, but it's still literally sideways. So you can put your entry above this here. And this, OMG. Again, the question is whether this here now is a running flat or expanding flat in that case, if it comes lower for upside, or whether this is trying to drop. This is 1, 2, 3, and this one is dropping. See, both of those patterns can be. You can look at it and say, well, both of those patterns make sense. Which one is it? I don't know. You don't have to know that. You're not looking for the sell. Wait until it breaks the low and then we turn and we buy again. And let's go for this. This one is also coming down very aggressively. So I don't think this is a running flat. This one is almost perfect as a flat here. So this could be either a deeper correction or dropping to the bottom, make a new low, and then go back up. This would be all the correction. See? We had like that previously. You can make an argument for that. You had a very similar one here. See this? It had a pretty deep up move, but then it dropped. So this one had a deep down move, a shallow up move. You can make an argument that this is trying to go down, right? So any flag here could be a sell to break the low. This here? Okay. We had a running flat here actually. See this? So you can go with this. This is going to go lower. So you have one sharp move up. You have a move down. You get a flat there. You get a move down. This makes a flat, and this goes back up. Put an entry there. Wait for it to break the low. So as soon as it breaks the low, we put an entry here, and we look for a buy from a low point. Get an entry there. Look for a buy from the bottom here going up, right? So you want this to come a little here, and then we look for that. See? up move, correction, up move. Simple. And the last one is this. Two of them has this pattern whereby I don't think that this is going to go back up. I think this could come break the low. This could be all you have, right? Like 1, 2, 3. That could be all, and this come and break the low. But if it is an expanding triangular looking pattern, somewhere from here, it is going to start to go back up. So we'll wait and see if we get that pattern. We don't know that. We'll have to wait and see. All right, so that's it. That's all. We complete everything really quick. I'll stop the recording, and then we're going to take questions. Whatever questions you have, I'm going to answer. So let me stop the recording.